Cowabunga! Cala fucking piece of dog shit! How's it going, guys? Dom here with Dom's Vlogs. And today, top 10s are back. I hadn't done top 10s in so long, so I wanted to do this especially for you guys. Now, we all know James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd. Now, this guy has been through, he is the critic of video games. He is the critic of old-style video games. It could be NES, Atari, N64, PlayStation, CDI, Atari, Sega, the Game Boy games, all that. He can review games, consoles, accessories, and he'll say if it's either good or if it's total ballsack. And this guy, the song says it all, he says it all, and it's a good one. Now he has a lot of episodes. I think he's at a total of 168, I think. 168 or 169 episodes of shows. And to celebrate James Rolfe and his 3 million subscribers that he had 3 weeks ago, which was a congratulations to the guy himself, I actually am going to be honoring his top 10 best Angry Video Game Nerd episodes. Now, let's go over the honorable mentions, which I have on this sheet of paper right here. And yes, I used a long sheet of paper because I've watched almost a lot of the Angry Video Game Nerd episodes. Minus the other stuff that has nothing to do with AVGN in there, like video game-wise. It has to be something with video games, video game accessories, and video game consoles. So, honorable mentions is Nightmare on Elm Street on the NES. The Power Glove, I know everybody loved that episode, and so did I. The Doublevision Part 1 and 2, the NES Accessories, the CDI games, as well as the console, which is Hotel Mario, Zelda, Link the Faces of Evil, and Zelda's Adventure, along with the Wand of Gamelot. Although I've never been much of a Zelda fan. I especially if you guys are a big Zelda fan, CDI will ruin your childhood, as well as Mario. Trust me. And also, we got the last two for honorable mentions, the Tiger Electronic Wrist games. I mean, good lord, the nerd went full out with those things, and I'm happy for that, because that has got to be the worst game system I've ever seen, period. And then we also have Game Boy Accessories, which was a really good episode, but didn't quite make it on my list as much as anything else. So, and then tomorrow, or next Wednesday, I'll do a top 10 best Nostalgia Critic episodes. But I have to watch all the Nostalgia Critic episodes, so thank God that I actually got a couple of days to do so, because it's going to be very special. So, that's the honorable mentions. If you guys didn't look at that right now, I'll post them in the link in the description box for you guys. But right now, let's do the top 10 best Angry Video Game Nerd episodes. Which number 10 on the countdown is episode 89, Pong Consoles. Episode 89, Pong Consoles, is kind of like, how do I put this? It's the Angry Video Game Nerd looking at a bunch of Pong consoles, which he happens to own. And surprisingly enough is that Pong is a very simple game. Probably also before Atari was a thing. Nothing more than just two flat bars bouncing a square ball back and forth. Yeah, this was before circles were invented. This was pretty much like, you know, the tennis. It's like tennis. Pong is like tennis, so to speak. Except there is no net. Despite of its simplicity, the game is actually a very fun game. I wish I could play it, but I never had a Pong console. Hell, I never even played a Pong game in my life. So he actually looks through all the Pong consoles, which he happens to own, so at least he can know what they do. Some work, some don't, some break, and some of them are just shitty consoles that happen. But the surprising fact is that there's less anger in this one than there is anything else. Yes, there's a couple of angry parts. I mean, there's the one with the devil's pitchforks where you have to screw them into the TV, and that gets it here. Except except you get one of these like coaxial adapters that you could just plug in to the TV easy enough. And the picture has to come in clear. I mean, this is old. What do you have to expect? I mean, even Nintendo's made a Pong console, except they made 2 in Japan, and even that's just stretching it. There's even a Pong console that had a steering wheel and a gun. Like, what madman came up with that? Then there was also one that has, like, the Devil's Pitchforks permanently attached to the console, so that now that you can't even, like, you know, do any of that. Then there's the, there's this one called the RCA Studio 2. This console is like, it's like both the video connector and AC adapter plug into the same damn box, and forcing you to unscrew every time you want to play a new system, and that the video signal just travels up that wire, and then the electricity coming from the wall socket that attaches to like stuff like a phone charge adapter or something comes back through that same wire. And I don't even understand how that works, and neither did him. But despite us not knowing what they do and what reason of it, it was still a very fun episode to actually watch, and it was yeah, it was very enjoyable. Now for number 9, which is the Sega CD and Sega 32X. I put both of them together because they actually mirror the same type of console, which is the Sega Genesis. And this is like the updated version. It's not the Model 1. This is like a Model 2, so to speak. So the Sega 32X and the Sega CD is basically, he's reviewing 2 different types of consoles. 2 different episodes, but I put them together because they're like the exact same. There's going to be a lot of them that are like the kind of like the exact same episode, but with a little bit of differences, you know. So starting with the Sega CD, I mean, the way he just reviews it is like crazy. I mean there are some ones he couldn't do. I mean, this is like it says full motion video. Like, that isn't full motion. Even like memory banks and stuff, and yet this thing is like, well, in his words, total fucking garbage. And it is total fucking garbage. I mean, this is the shitty ass quality that you guys have to see me through every single time. And that's way better than the Sega CD. And the Sega CD is supposed to show like games with live action characters trying to make it. It's kind of like one of these games that you see on the internet. And trust me, they're a load of shit. They're a load of shit. On top of also the worst part, which is the Sega 32X. This thing was the shit cake that your sister took on her 16th birthday. I'm not joking. That is how bad this console is. So, I mean, it requires all 3 consoles smashed together in one. Like they are actually, it's like actually going out or something, or actually getting sexually harassed. So, nothing more or less is that the Sega 32X is supposed to be cross-compatible with the 16-bit games, but it has its library of 32-bit games, which means it's supposed to have 32 bits in the title, which is the graphics improvement. I mean, it sucks anyhow. I mean, they break easier, and even the nerd got it from a flea market for $2.50. I'm that damn fucking serious, like he is. This thing is the shit cake, I'll tell you. On top of the worst part is that it has its own power connector. And my god, I was laughing at it on my top 10 worst video game consoles. I mean, you got a total of 3 adapters, and not only the adapters here, they're the adapters like, let me take this shit out. They're like the shitty adapters. They're like these right here. Come here. They're these shitty adapters, these little box-like things. Why does it have to have a box? Even small, it still would barely fit on anything else. I mean, I can't even show you anything else with the plugs here, but like, at least some of my stuff ends with a normal plug. And that was 2007, and we still can't get it? And we're in 2019, and we can't, understand that shit like that just takes up too much room? There's something wrong with us today. But enough with that here. No, there's more. There's actually more. There's another power cable that attaches to the Genesis to the 32X so that the graphics can improve a bit more. This is literally like you're putting like syringes all over the freaking console, just stabbing them with syringes, pushing them in. Or no, it's like you're actually like driving pins through somebody's like face, driving them straight through the bone of the skull right here. That is literally what you're doing to the console. And not only that, the games are shit. The games were shit, and they're not good. And even with the 32X, they were actually having 32, like Sega 32X CD games, which requires both the 32X and the Sega CD. So, not only that, according to the Nerd's video, there was supposed to be another console coming out that kind of was the 32X, which would be called the Neptune, but it was scrapped for this hunk of shit of like an attachment and a console at the same time. I tell you, I'd rather take the Neptune than this if it wasn't canceled. Not only that, the 32X didn't have much of a life of it because the Saturn was on its way. So yeah, this episode actually shows a lot of good information, shows a lot of roasts, and even shows the calmest he's... Not the calmest that I've ever seen him be, but he was definitely like calm when actually roasting this flat-out awful system. The Genesis was good, but the other two were just shit. So now we're going up to number 8, which is Friday the 13th on NES. Oh, Jesus Christ. Friday the 13th. I remember that. Jason Voorhees. And nowadays on the game system here, I mean, what happens? You're just a camp counselor shooting off zombies and animals. You go to a cabin, you fight Jason. It's shit at the Take Sunday. But this is one of my... I had to take at least one of the Angry Video Game Nerds holiday-like specials, and I had to take at least one for Christmas and one for Halloween, and I had to take at least Friday the 13th. And Friday the 13th was kind of more funnier than Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I said that because he was hiding out. This is literally what people would take so that if you had a best friend over, you wouldn't get so pissed at this game because he likes the game, you don't. I mean, he literally was just standing with his controller, tapping the buttons, acting calm, saying, yeah, this is cool, I like it a lot. Then sooner or later, he roasts this damn game enough. Then Jason comes up and grabs him by the throat and was ready to stab him. It was very funny because he tries to get away from Jason, but it was too much because Jason wants him to play this damn game and say how much he loves it. And the funny thing is that Jason knew that, well, I can't even say I can't even say it because I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it's more of sarcasm. And the nerd had enough time to actually kick Jason's ass and shoot him in the damn head. And even in the ending where he took the game, went close up to the camera and said that this game was horrible, he threw the damn game and just literally passed himself out with alcohol, which led us to Nightmare on Elm Street, which was the continuation. This was like a fine episode to show how much one company that was on the Nintendo business was just a shitty remark, and a total shit cake at that. So, now for number 7, which is Batman Part 1 and 2. Yeah, I forgot the Batman games were real nowadays. I know a lot of people love the Dark Knight game. I don't know, I've never been a big fan of the Batman games, even though I've been a big fan of, well, not the movies, because, you know, they've been dropped down. I know there were some good ones, but They never quite caught my eye. But I am a big fan of the animated series, the original animated series of Batman. I mean, Batman is one of my favorite DC characters. Superman and the others are not very much. So, this one is clearly just looking at a bunch of old Batman games from both the Commodore 64, the Atari games, to NES, to Super NES, and also to Sega. And part 2 led on with the Joker games, like the 2 Return to the Jokers from both the Game Boy game and the original NES, along with the Revenge of the Joker from the Sega Genesis. Of course, it did end with the nerd, or I should say, Bat Nerd, attacking the Joker, knocking him out, and also with the boxes again, and then also shoving all those horrible games right up the Joker's ass, and which was the best thing. I'll tell you, Mike, which is Nerd's, like Rolf's friend, I think, did a very good job of actually acting like the Joker. He did a pretty good job of actually imitating the kind of like behavior of the Joker, like his laughter, his cruel nature, and how much he hates Batman. It was a really good one, and even the Nerd did a pretty good job of actually being Batman. I mean, they both do stunts better than Batman versus Superman. Yeah, I said that. Oh man. And it was a fun one. I mean, the first one is just, Batman, the Bat Nerd just being like, I'm Batman every time he looks at these games, and then just throws them, breaks them, and then just stares at them. There's also some games where he actually praised them. Some of them he said that were not good, but not bad either, which is really good. It's really nice that he actually praises the games at least a little bit here for once. So now for number 6, which is, oh, Jesus Christ, do I really have to say it? Do I really have to say this one? I have to say this one. LJN Video Art. The last episode of the 12 Days of Shitmas. Yep, that's right. This is the Christmas one I was talking about. The 12 Days of Shitmas was kind of like going through the 12 days of the nerd, looking down each game that he is given. 12 gifts of shitty-ass games that he has played. Ones from different types of consoles. And, oh boy, the last one did not anger him this much as me. Not only was this game clearly supposed to be a video art style game, it was supposed to be like a kind of like a mix between Mario Paint, but in an older style. Because why? Because it has the same problem with some of the other Pong consoles. The devil's pitchforks that you screw onto your TV. Yep, that's right. This game had it. Came with one game though. But if you don't want to play the game, it's just a blank screen. But oh my god, this game was bad. It's worse than, like, I'm not going to say it's worse than Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We all know how bad that game is. But it's so bad. I can't explain it. I can't explain how bad it is. You, like, literally you cannot draw, like, inside the barriers. Not only that, when you press down and, like, rock the joystick back, the damn thing, oh, it squeaks. Literally, like, if you ever hear something squeak and creak like that, it literally would hurt your ears, your teeth, and maybe your head. And that you can't even turn off. On top of that, the other part that's not as worse as that squeaking, but is close to it, is that the game has no sound. And even if it does have sound, it's fucking static. I mean, Mario Paint at least had music. You mess with the screen, there's multiple different ways that you can erase some of the art stuff that you have, and even my favorite one was just the one with the water. On top of that, you can make music. There's other different types of games. Like, what the shit with this game? LJN really outdone themselves. Etch-a-Sketch is better, and it didn't need no, like, forks to put into your TV. It also didn't need no squeaking required. I mean, Etch can draw a old Wild West Colt 45 6-shooter and flat out can shoot the LJN video art straight up its ass. That is how bad this console is. And I dubbed it the worst game console because it is. It's worse than the R-Zone. The R-Zone, at least, although stupid, I mean, I hate the Tiger Electronic games to begin with. At least this thing knew how to do movements and stuff. LJN video art, I mean, LJN can take a dump on anything. All they have to do is just get a sheet of paper right here, put it under their ass, and oh man, yeah, that's good. That is the shit. That is the shit. That is literally what LJN is. That is literally what they are and what they're supposed to be. Now let's go to number 5, which is the Atari Jaguar, Part 1 and 2. Now, Part 1 is basically the remakes of the video game Crash, like the video game Crash year here where Nintendo and Sega were following up and Atari trying to lead behind here with the new consoles that it has, although didn't find much effort. And then when they hit to the Atari Jaguar, which was a 64-bit game console, it wasn't much of a 64. Then when we moved to Part 2, it got worse. Some of the games were fine, some of the games were terrible. And those also, they made a CD add-on, which problem was is that 2 of them, which I think he bought $250, no, $450 on 2 Jaguar CDs that are broke and shit. You know what's the interesting part? I don't know what they called this one. The Color Sport 8, I think. Color Sport 8, which had the knob controllers, which was a Pong game. You could attach a cell phone adapter to the outlet and it would work. But a cutting-edge, snarling Jaguar with 2 adapters, a CD unit, and a cartridge slot, which has a shape of a miniature toilet. All it's missing is the flushing sound so you can take a shit in there later. Does not work with the cartridges that it came with, along with the CD units that it came with as well. On top of that, the controller was like the Intellivision and the ColecoVision, although it had the same thing like them having the label, the overlays. This thing has like keypads. Why do we need keypads? This is a video game controller, not a damn phone. Literally, this is the stupidest thing you would ever see that cut the shit cake. Oh, but it gets worse at number 4, which is the Atari 5200, which is the 20th episode of the Angry Video Game Nerd. This console was supposed to be another cutting-edge console for the time. Now, this thing even had the same problems as the RCA Studio 2, except I think they kind of improved it just a tad bit. The funny thing is that this is the probably one of the hugest consoles ever, minus one of the CDI consoles. It's the biggest console I've ever seen, and this is the oldest. On top of also having a controller stick that is analog, but the joysticks were too faulty, and another damn keypad for some basic games. It's just shocking how big it is, and also the difficulty that you have to get. Like long extension cords here, because the other cords that they have, even with a huge ass box that ends with a normal plug, just couldn't at least fit through a TV. Even an old piece of shit like an old school 70s one is surprising. It surprised me as well as a YouTuber, and especially a reacting person to the nerd himself. On top of that too, I mean, it had one of the funniest scenes in the episode. It was the episode like he grabs the TV, he picks it up, but then the wire from the heater kind of like got caught, and then that wasn't his real foot, as you guys know. It was just I think it was one of those fancy boots, like those brown fancy boots that you would see. Just smashed the TV and pretended like it was his foot, and it was the funniest scene yet. On top of that too, I mean, the way he just like, I don't know, the way he mocks the controllers, which is so cool. I mean, there was a controller that was like slightly bigger than the Nintendo Entertainment System. That is crazy. That was insane. Not only that, it still didn't work. I mean, none of the controllers worked. They were pieces of shit. On top of that, he also... he put a beer bottle of, I think, Rolling Rock inside the console and just drank it right there. So, yeah. I mean, it's an old classic. It's a short one, but it was an old classic nonetheless. Now for the third best Angry Video Game Nerd episode, which is Superman 64 / Returns. So that means it's Superman 64 and Superman 64 Returns, which was the 51st episode, and also the 168th episode of the Angry Video Game Nerd, which had something to do with the Nintendo 64 game known as Superman, which is Superman 64. I mean, every console said 64 in, well, game said 64 in the damn title. And it had something to do with, well, based off of the actual, like, animated series, which, again, is very disappointing because this game is nothing more than just flying through fucking rings. Short boss battles, horrible graphics, and I mean literally, Mario 64 had better graphics, and I'm that serious. Like, not only that, you glitch out of the maps too much. It's so bad. And even, really? Really? Rings? Why do we have to keep going through rings? Not only that, the last final ring level was the worst one. There are rings that are underwater. There are rings that go through your wrong areas. There are rings that are off the other areas. So that makes it hard to beat. Not only that, there is no continues. So that what makes it shitty. I'm definitely going to need a drink after this. But, yeah, that console was so much shit. And on top of that, too, there was supposed to be a PlayStation version, and this was the unreleased version, and it actually was better. But according to Titus, the fuck kind of name is Titus? They said that they said that their license ran out, and then they didn't quite release the PlayStation one yet. So they get this fart turd right there, which actually puked rings off our ass. On top of that, too, I mean, the funny thing about the nerd actually just playing this game again and flat out getting pissed off of those rings was pretty funny. Even funny, too, like how he just imagined some of this stuff happening. And it's funny for him to actually just play these. And not only that, the controls were shit. It was just, oh, it was god-awful. It was god-awful. I can't even explain it too much. I'm not even kidding around. The Commodore 64 version, at least, was way better. The NES version, at least, had steps that were better than this. It was so bad, and it was not even a glitch. There was no glitches. And even at least if there was a boss battle, at least it was a boss battle. These other ones are like mini boss battles, like the dog rounds on Derice. It was so bad. So now for our second almost final one. Why would I say that? I mean, it's the second best Angry Video Game Nerd episode. I mean, you know what it is. It's the one where he screamed at a pillow. There's no continues. And even for that, it's based off of a damn movie. It's Dick Tracy on NES. Literally, Dick Tracy on NES. Yet it's not LJN. Yet it's crap. So bad. I mean, literally. I mean, he's been playing this game for, like, what, 20 years? And he still couldn't get past this damn stage. He cannot get past the first damn stage of the damn level. And yet he gets his ass handed to him every single time. Not only that, one guy, no continues. 0. I want to give a good reason to you people out in the world, and I think there's a reason for it. Why is there no continues? At least in, like, the campaigns, there are continues to keep going. But this one, there is none. I don't know how to explain it, because this is the shitty shit take. Oh, that's bleach. This is the shit take. I mean, this is NES we're talking about. This is like the one that had the whole library of games for its system. And it just put out one game based off of a really old classic movie. Although cheesy, had freaking Madonna in there. Was very much pretty colorful, pretty sweet, and it was a good action movie. And yet, what do they put in there? Well, let me guess. One guy, no continues, and a car that just takes damage for no freaking reason. On top of that, freaking snipers that you can't even stop getting hit by. This was the shittiest shit take that NES could possibly put into one. And I have to say that with a damn serious mindset, because that is literally what it is. Now I have to really go for number one here, and I gotta tell you, this is probably going to be a rage in the comments. Spoilers here is that this is not going to be acquiring the ones that are on my honorable mentions list, and even ones that I did not even bother, because some of them were a little too forgettable, to be honest. So, let's get to number one, which is the Aladdin Deck Enhancer from the NES. Now, this is the first time that the Angry Video Game Nerd, probably, I'm not sure, the first time he actually played a system that didn't had a past, neither a future. So remember his theme song. He's going to take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. This game system, which is supposed to be cheaper to make, but still is like, I think, the same money as our original NES, had no past. Not only that, they ran a business so much a long time ago that the games are the exact damn same. This is just marketing hype. It is really marketing hype. The games are the exact same. It had the same chips all around the whole place. Not only that, the worst thing is that it was worse than those. Because at least with the original NES games, they at least are cross-compatible with other NES consoles. But this one only works with the original toaster NES design. So, yeah. And it also, like, before I go on, it also introduced the Angry Video Game Nerd NES toaster model. And that was the best one out of all of them. The gray models are shit. This one is God. But, going back to this console. I mean, basic game thing enough. You just place the game inside this, like, enhancer. You place it in, and it works, and you play the games. But this is just... It only came out with, I think, 7 games, and that was it. And they're all bad. They're all bad. They don't work. There's no game-related stuff on it. The graphics are just slightly brighted, like you just upped the contrast. Literally. This is how shit this game is. I have to say one thing, though, is that this game was... Well, these games ran out of business so long ago that it was a death sentence. And not only that, if it didn't had any past, like, there was like a couple of thousand of them that was like called back, like brought here thanks to liquidators and eBay. But the nerd was so upset by these things because there was no past to these things. So he wished those damn things would explode by that genie that he wished that was inside a disgusting foul septic tank. Not only that, he exploded every single Aladdin deck enhancer. The nerd, this was the first time the nerd had actually played a console that didn't have no past. And that is shocking, because he played every single console that had a past and a future, no matter if it was good or bad. And that showed it in this one. I mean, the Aladdin deck enhancer, in my opinion, could have been a fine system if they couldn't at least promised it. They didn't have to put the marketing hype like the Disney live action shit has gone through. Like, literally, Disney live action goes through marketing hype like crazy, yet they still managed to get a quick buck out of it. But this one didn't, because it promised zero. And it was nothing out of that. Ran out of money, put those in the storage units, leave them be for like a next year, and maybe they have a damn future. But no, they didn't. There was no future behind them, and there's no future now. This is the #1 reason that the Aladdin deck enhancers never went to went to see the light of day. And when the nerd first saw it, as well as any other gamer out there, this was pretty much the shit take that was on your sundae, your ice cream cone sundae with dual pickle swirls and with some mustard swirl and extra bacon bits with some plain vanilla. And that is the #1 best angry video game nerd episode of all time. Now, I am sorry that some of you guys had not had any of your favorite angry video game nerd episodes on this list. I mean, these are basically my personal opinions only, and I feel bad for you guys because this is the angry video game nerd, and I do surprise it here. And literally, this is it. I mean, this is the list right here. You could see it right there. This is the top 10 list right here that I just talked to you guys about, and this gets a check mark for done. But does that really make me say that the angry video game nerd should at least quit his daytime job? Not really. The angry video game nerd has become one of the biggest staples of criticism through video game hype throughout its long period when YouTube was not so restrictive. Now with YouTube nowadays, I mean, it's still restrictive, but not as restrictive as I've seen him be. He still is one of the biggest parts that I would say should be on trending. This guy should be on trending, and he's not. Literally, he is not. And what do I tell you? One thing here is that this guy can tell you that these guys rip you off. They don't care one bit, but he doesn't forget it. I mean, literally. Why can't a turtle swim? Why can't you land the plane? Why are the characters' names wrong? Why are the passwords so long? And why don't the weapons do anything, right? That's literally what the song says, and I'm literally just repeating the lyrics, but not singing them. This is what makes the nerd special, is that the theme song itself, the character, and how James Rolfe acts it. He acts it very well, and even for 3 million subscribers, I thank the guy. And even with James Rolfe, even though he doesn't do much of the nerd anymore here, he still does a pretty good job of becoming that nerd and even doing some great job of actually being said nerd. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like. And don't forget, top 10 best Nostalgia Critic episodes are going to be coming up next Wednesday, and I hope you guys are going to be enjoying that one. Now it's time for me to go. I gotta drink some water. And, oh boy, literally, actually, I gotta take that shit again. Ugh. Oh, God. Oh. Oh. Oh, that felt so good. That actually felt good. That actually felt good. I better get this to someone, seeing if they can use this as a toilet paper. But yeah, stay scary, and I'll see you next time. Oh my god. Hey guys, Dominic here. Oops, knocked the camera over with my own foot. So that was the top 10 best angry video game nerd episodes. So I hope you enjoyed this Dom's Vlogs, excuse me, episodes. I'm a little burpy because I did have, my family did order Chinese food, so I ate it, and you know what happens when you get a little burpy. So I apologize if I was a little too burpy. I'm also apologizing that I talk so fast because that's me nowadays. I mean, I talk pretty much a lot. But yeah, that's the top 10 best angry video game nerd episodes. So after the top 10 best Nostalgia Critic episodes that I'm going to be posting on my YouTube channel next Wednesday, I am going to be doing a editing style. I'm going to be making a test video for editing, and I'm going to try my best at it. It's not going to be my perfect, I would say, because you know how it feels when most people edit, especially editing something like this. And even for that, I mean, come on, Mysterious Mr. Intern has an editor, and he edits and that editor is very well than me. So, cut it some slack. But yeah, I am going to be trying my best to edit my videos for you guys. I know some people are trying to say it's over that many years. I have not edited any of my videos out, and I apologize for that. And I'm also focusing about going to the Jobs Corps in Edison, New Jersey, so I'm trying to get focused on that. I also got too much chores to do around the house. I mean, I am scheduled to do those, but hey, that's what you do when you're actually a 19-year-old person looking for a damn way to actually get a job than just using YouTube too much. But yeah, I hope you guys really do enjoy the video. Leave a like if you did, and I promise to actually do the best editing stuff that I can. I'm actually going to edit it as very well as I can. I am going to try it with what I got. And then once I boost the morale, and even if my subscribers do go up, I might be able to at least grab at least what I can, and if whatever cash I can get while I hit at least maybe 500. I think I heard 500 you can do that. So I am going to try that. So I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, I'll see you in the next videos. Peace out.